Hey everyone! Today I want to talk about a topic that sparked a lot of debate in my recent conversation with fellow engineering managers and hiring leads in the community. Who is the software junior engineer really? And why do we, as an industry, often get it wrong? Now, I was actually planning a video about the future of junior developers in the era of AI, but I quickly realized that before we even get to that, we need to address a more fundamental question. What does it mean to be a junior developer? Because trust me, the opinions out there are all over the place. Let me share a common scenario. I'm sitting in a roundup call with several interviewers, and we are discussing a candidate and whether we should send him an offer. An interviewer is saying the candidate couldn't solve this task or answer that question, so they are too junior. If we have a junior position, maybe we'll send them an offer. But here is the kicker. The candidate might have 5+ years of experience. Their so-called junior performance in the interview might have nothing to do with their actual skills or experience. Maybe they weren't well prepared, or maybe the interview didn't match their real-world experience, or maybe, and this is the most important, the candidate is simply a technically poor engineer and his lack of experience and skills does not mean he is junior. He may simply be an unqualified person who calls himself a software developer. In fact, when a manager of a recruitment company says something like, "Our customers do not hire juniors," they usually mean this kind of developers. And then, when you add the AI conversation into the mix, things get even more muddled. There is an assumption that juniors are the first to get replaced by automation, because teams supposedly give them only the dummy work, the tasks that are easiest to automate. I hear this all the time. We need a junior to design REST APIs, or write simple SQL queries, or help us with boring routines that experienced folks do not want to do. Or, which is even worse, we want to save money and tasks that we have are simple, so let's hire someone dummy and underpay him in order to maintain inefficiency instead of solving problems systematically and at scale. So the logic goes, if AI can do the grunt work, why do we need junior engineers at all? But I think if you, as an engineering manager, treat juniors this way, you are missing the point and you are missing out on a huge opportunity for your team. Here is my possibly unpopular opinion. The hard skill gap between a junior and a senior engineer is not as big as most people think. In fact, I'd argue it's often overestimated. Let's take a fresh computer science graduate. They've spent years learning the fundamentals, working on student projects, experimenting with different technologies, and getting constant feedback from professors and peers. They're used to learning new things quickly, passing exams, and adapting to the new challenges. Now, put that graduate in a technical interview focused on the basics, data structures, algorithms, system design. They might actually outperform a senior engineer who spent the last few years deep in a specific technical stack, solving business problems, and hasn't had to revisit the basics in a long time. Yes, juniors are often book smart, while seniors have real-world expertise, but from an interview perspective, that difference can be surprisingly small. And let's not forget, seniors can have gaps too. Their recent experience might be narrow, or their knowledge might be outdated if they haven't kept up with new developments. Another thing we often overlook: not all experiences are good experiences. Best practices in software development vary widely between companies. Some seniors might have picked up bad habits, become set in their ways, or simply never had the chance to work in a high-performing team. I can't even count the number of times I've met so-called senior engineers who, despite their impressive resumes, have never actually reviewed a pull request because someone else always did it for them, or engineers who have never taken the time to understand the real impact of a bug or an incident, or who have never looked beyond surface-level application code to explore the core of the technology they are using. It's a classical case. Someone claims X years of experience, but in reality, it's just 1 year of experience repeated X times. They've been doing the same thing in the same way year after year without ever pushing themselves to grow or learn something new. Meanwhile, a junior might not have much real-world experience, but they often know how things should work. If your team is committed to following best practices, a junior with the right mindset and the willingness to learn can sometimes be a better fit than a senior who brings years of experience but also outdated habits or the wrong approach. In fact, it's often much easier to assess a candidate's grasp of fundamentals and their approach to problem solving in an interview than it is to truly evaluate the depth of relevance of their experience. Yes, finding a junior with strong fundamentals and the right attitude can be challenging, but when you do, you know exactly what you are getting: someone eager to grow, adapt, and do things the right way. On the other hand, hiring a senior can sometimes feel like bringing a Trojan horse. The experience might look impressive on paper, but you don't always know what habits, biases, or blind spots they might be carrying with them until they're already on your team, being paid six figures. And let's be honest, every new hire, junior or senior, needs time to onboard. If you plan for a 3-month onboarding period, that's a huge opportunity for a junior to close the gap. With the right support, they can ramp up quickly and become just as productive as a new senior hire. So what do juniors really bring to the table? Here are a few things we often overlook. Fresh perspective. Juniors aren't weighted down by the way things have always been done. They ask questions, challenge assumptions, and can spot inefficiencies that others might miss. Learning agility. They're used to learning fast, adapting to new tools and frameworks, and picking up new skills on the fly. Team culture. Juniors often bring enthusiasm, curiosity, and willingness to collaborate. They are eager to learn from others and contribute to a positive team dynamic. Long-term investments. Juniors who grow within your team become deeply embedded in your culture and processes. They are more likely to stay and evolve into future leaders. Mentorship opportunities. Having juniors on the team encourage seniors to mentor, document, and share knowledge, which benefits the whole organization. So what actually makes a junior engineer stand out? Let's be clear, it's not just about attitude or willingness to learn, though those matter. The real foundation is strong hard skills. The hard skills you build during your education, through pet projects, internships, and student competitions are absolutely critical. I can't stress this enough. A solid grasp of computer science fundamentals, algorithms, data structures, and system design is what sets promising junior apart. These aren't just academic checkboxes. They are the building blocks for solving real-world problems, no matter what technology or framework comes along. And let's not forget about the code quality. The ability to write clean, maintainable code isn't just about style, it's about clarity of thought. If you can express your ideas clearly in code, you can collaborate, debug, and scale your solutions far more effectively. We may be at a pivot point in our industry because of AI, but I firmly believe that these core skills are more essential than ever. AI tools can help automate some tasks, sure, but they can't replace the deep understanding of how systems work, how to break down complex problems, or how to architect robust solutions from scratch. In fact, the juniors who have these strong fundamentals will be the ones who can leverage AI to become even more effective and creative engineers. But how exactly can smart juniors use AI to shine even brighter? That's the topic I'm excited to dive into next time. So, to sum up, juniors are not just cheap labor or future seniors. They are a vital part of a healthy engineering team. If you invest in them, support them, and give them meaningful work, they'll pay you back many times over. So next time you are hiring, don't just look at years of experience or how someone performs on a coding quiz. Look for mindset, look for potential, and the value they can bring to your team. So what do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you like the video, like the video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.